There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A heat advisory continues. Isolated thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise clear. Still very warm, a low temperature of 80 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered storms with a high of 97, and the heat index as high as 105. Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 80. Saturday, scattered storms with a high of 85 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
When it comes to the vitamins and supplements you take, quality counts. If you have questions or concerns about the vitamins you plan on taking, we're happy to help. Mark Drugs, better health and care for you and your pets. The most common signs you need a probiotic are if you have taken an antibiotic and need to balance out the gut bacteria, you find yourself getting constantly sick, or you feel bloated, unwell, or have skin issues. We carry high-quality probiotics at our pharmacies such as Florastor, Floragen, and what I refer to as the silver bullet, Orthobiotic, which combines multiple strains of beneficial bacteria and friendly yeast to stimulate optimal gut flora. Get to know your pharmacist. Caring for you, your family, and your overall well-being is what our pharmacists at Mark Drugs stand for. You have a choice when it comes to your health care, and a great choice is Mark Drugs in Roselle and Deerfield, where you get better health and care for you and your pets. Check out markdrugs.com for the pet of the month.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
With Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Cool. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us as we drive it home. I know there's a lot that's kind of breaking news in the last few hours, and such a shocker that Donald Trump was informed that that his name was in the Epstein files, and then he lied on July 15th to a press corps when they asked him, "Are you in the Epstein files?" And he said no, and then proceeded to tell us that it was made up by Biden and Obama. Whatever. There's going to be so much to talk about. We can get to that later because, first of all, I want to start with gratitude. Thank you to our sponsors for making these conversations possible. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. Again, that's pridecoffeeroasters.com. They do have a coupon code for you right now that you can use to perhaps maybe make a bean subscription, and you can get 10% off your entire order when you place that order. It's Drive Home 10 to save 10% on your entire order, and they're exclusively right now at farmers markets. Hopefully we can raise their profile and get them everywhere because they're fabulous. And they have swag. You can go in on their gay tote, stickers, or Pride Coffee t-shirts. So that's pridecoffeeroasters.com. And visit source.solar to learn more about our friends Peter Sorellis and Warren Price. They'll be in studio tomorrow to talk more about these expiring incentives to get solar panels on your house or business and find out what you need to know. I know a lot of people are on the fence about getting solar panels, and you can't wait any longer if it's something you've been considering. Or maybe there are some good developments in Illinois. They'll let us know about that tomorrow. Again, we want to thank our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. Great to catch up with Kirk Bankstead yesterday. Man, what a crazy, wild ride. Please stay up to date on all the conversations we've been having on his Substack. My piece, When They Come for the Comedians, is available. And if you order by today, you do support the work that I do there. Otherwise, wait till Monday. Every Monday through Wednesday, my column benefits from your purchases through my article. So thank you so much to everybody who sent kind words about the work that I do. And if you didn't like it, still glad you read it and commented on my page and said nasty things. It all helps with the algorithm. And of course, Kids Above All. Go to kidsaboveall.org and support their mission to help children live happy, healthy, safe lives. And hi to our friends listening in the evenings on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and also now in the mornings for a bit. So tell your friends to listen. Maybe you have to stay in the morning. signings. If I get more people listening, they may let me stay. I'm not begging. Jesse. Jesse Rojo's right? Am I saying your name correctly?
No, you're good.
I got it wrong last time, so I want to make sure I get your name correct.
It's all right.
He is running for what was that?
It happens. It's all good.
I bet you. What do people say? How do they call you?
Oh my God, Rojo, Rojas.
Oh yeah, I said Rojas last time.
Yeah,
that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. Sorry about that. I know it's, but I don't like doing that. Welcome back to the studio, running for the Illinois State Representative District of 52, the Fightin' 52, and you have an amazing story. I'm so glad to have you back in studio. You really do. So let's learn briefly about you again. I believe you grew up in California.
No, born in Los Angeles, raised in Oregon, the son of immigrants. My dad came here from Mexico, my mom from Guatemala, and they're small business owners. So unfortunately, like most small business owners, they struggled. And if my parents struggled, that means I struggled. Sure. And I truly mean that, unfortunately. I mean, what is it? In the last 5 years, we'd had over 100,000 small businesses closed just here in the state. So it is a huge struggle. But one thing I would definitely give my parents credit on is despite all the struggle, despite every time I had to watch my dad, think, how am I going to raise my family, right? They never gave up on that dream, that promise of America that brought them here. The idea that if you work hard, you can earn a better life for yourself and your children. And they passed that down to me, and somehow that ended up with me coming out here. I went to the University of Chicago, got into policy advocacy, became a soldier, and now here I am.
Certainly the path is to go to the University of Chicago, get a policy degree, and then join the military. Everyone does that. Don't they do that? Everybody? No?
I think I literally joined the military during the University of Chicago as well. It was actually...
You're like, get me out of here. You didn't like it, huh?
No.
It's okay.
So, no, I think I said this last time, not the biggest fan. Yeah, not a good fit. And I specifically joined the Army in my third year, right after the Trump election, actually, because it was just... shift, a lot became different, and so for some reason I was like, all right, let's go join the Army. I think literally
wow.
So that happened obviously in November, the inauguration in January. Right after the inauguration, I went to a recruiter's office, and that's what, January 21st. I was in boot camp February 17th. So did not hesitate.
And this was in the Army. So I have a friend who is, she's in the reserves. They are in the reserves.
That's what I was in. Yeah.
They are. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I do have a friend who was in the process of transitioning.
Oh no, we didn't.
And so they are trapped, kind of, right? So they did not take what was the thing in January? You could
voluntary discharge or whatever it's called. Yeah.
So I'm concerned because I don't know if they realize how much danger they're in. Maybe they are, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's
over 10,000.
It's a danger that's out of their control, too.
Right.
Because, genuinely, in my experience, the Army is a, live and let live type of scenario. I know don't get me wrong, there's some bigots. I served with them, screw them. But the majority of the time, it's just live and let live. So it's not really something you're seeing within the unit. It's now just something that's being done within the leadership. And just like so many examples, when the leadership is messed up, which is what we have right now, it trickles down.
Well, and we see that we saw this father of 3 Marines who was doing some landscaping outside of, I think, an IHOP, and ICE agents tackled him, and they were beating him. And here he raised 3 young men who knew the value of service, very much like you were talking about. Our parents who come here. My mother came from Mexico. we had a bit of a different path. I will tell you, I wanted to join the military, Jesse, and she took me to lunch, and she said, "You are my youngest. I can't. I mean, how do we say no to our moms, right?"
Yeah.
I mean, were your parents proud?
My dad, So most men in my family joined the military, so it was kind of a tradition thing. My dad loved it. My mom was
like my mom.
My mom.
Scared?
My mom was like your mom. Fortunately, though, when I first joined, it's just boot camp. It's nothing bad. It wasn't that bad. When I deployed overseas, maybe a little more fear on my mom's side. I can definitely imagine that. A little harder, for sure.
Where did you deploy to?
So I actually was originally supposed to go to Afghanistan, terrifying. And then 3 days, literally 3 days before we shipped out, Iran bombed Saudi Arabia's oil fields. So they shifted everything. We went from one entirely different job to suddenly I'm doing construction work in Saudi Arabia. That was fun because I was literally deployed from the summer of 2019 to the summer of 2020. So February or March, I can't remember, 2020, something happened, COVID. So they literally kind of just ditched us in the middle of the desert. That was real cool.
Oh my gosh.
Advanced stuff right there.
Yeah, that is wild, man. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is it reminds me a little bit like when I talk to my friend and they tell me about some of the, they go out for a lot of training on different parts of the country. I know you guys do 1 week in a month and then 2 weeks a year.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was gonna do the ASVAB, my friend. I was ready to go. I stopped at the Air Force. There used to be an Air Force office on Lawrence Avenue near Milwaukee. And when I walked in, that was when I was 17. So it was 1988, 89, and they told me there were no jobs for women in the Air Force. And of course, I didn't realize at the time that my desire was mostly from Top Gun, and those are actually Marines. And so it was really kind of a mess anyway. I don't know if the Marines would have taken me either. So
no comment.
So I understand. But so your training, I mean, it's an incredible story of being the son of immigrants, of different places that you've lived, being able to so I'm a policy advisor now for Controller Susana Mendoza, and part of that's from my life experiences, having been through the system. So you've been through a lot of experiences that lend itself to running for office and representing your district, right?
Yeah, no. Whether it's my childhood and learning that it's not just living in poverty, it's living a life defined by poverty, defined by lack of opportunity, or being the son of a small business owner where, the reality is every politician, Democratic or Republican, I support small businesses, yet how do you? What is your plan? What specifically are you trying to do? I mean, that's so much for everything, though. Those experiences fuel me now. And then also the last 10 years, 11 years now, oh man, I'm 29. I've been working as a policy advocate, specifically actually recruiting low-income parents of color to get involved in this type of policy work. And that's been influential beyond anything. I mean, that's really why I have this focus around small business tax credits so that we can offer childcare and parental leave, making it so that a mother doesn't have to choose between being a mom and a worker, or prioritizing the earned income and child tax credit, which are unique in that they don't punish you for working. I mean, right now, I think I saw a study recently, 710,000 people in Illinois are scared about or are limiting their hours because they're scared about income caps. If they make $1 too much, they lose everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
and it's only going to get worse with these cuts that are coming in through for Medicaid, because it's about over 300,000 people, because we subsidize the Affordable Care Act here in Illinois. And when Governor Quinn was in office, they wrote trigger language. Basically, if our funding drops below a certain point, then those folks are just automatically. And so I love your philosophy right here. I do go to, candidates' page, their websites. I do think that this idea that politics is meant to be an avenue to creating good policy is something that can be hard to communicate to people, because they think of politics as, I don't want to get involved, it's all a lot of noise. Tell us a little about this philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the unofficial slogan or whatever is enough politics, time for solutions. Right. That's what I'm trying to do. I have this radical idea that our politics should be about solving problems, not pointing fingers, not saying I'm better than the alternative, not just being good enough, certainly not having a website without a issues page. Wink, wink. Way too many people do that. No, I think, and it is certainly a challenge, but I think you should be able to stand up and say specifically how you're going to help people. You should be able to talk to somebody and ask for their vote, not because you're better than the other side, not because your resume is nice, no, because of what you hope to accomplish for them.
This is such a policy page. I mean, I remember mine was because we live in a community with a lot of first responders. So we obviously, I remember one firefighter told me that there's 10% of his mental health that there is no repairing from the things that he'd seen and stories that he told me. He's like, that's, I just live with that and try to do the best I can to heal the trauma. But he's somebody who will say that a lot of, first responders, it's, they're tough. They're supposed to suck it up. And if they report anyway, that was my policy page. I think there were like maybe 5 blocks. You have, yes. I mean,
9, yeah.
This is well. So
I'm committed to it. I mean, I don't like politics. I've not enjoyed the process of running, I'll be honest, but I'm sticking to that belief that, tell people specifically what you want to do. Don't be general. Don't just talking points, whatever it is.
I agree. Yeah. And have you been to Springfield and watched how the sausage is made?
Yeah, no. Yeah. So way back in my early 20s, would probably go once, twice, 3 times a week. I was very involved. Then I shifted more into getting other people involved. And so still, though, probably once a month I'm down there. Except for this last year, I actually, thank goodness, think I went to Springfield once.
Yeah.
We had an intern at one of my jobs. And I kind of was just like, hey, I think it's a great experience for them. Let them go down. I just didn't want to go down.
I always stayed at the State House Inn. I don't know if I've talked about this. I want to do. Yeah, I want to take a field trip for adults, because remember when we were kids, we all went to Springfield in 7th or 8th grade, and I think that people should, because I want to take them and watch from the gallery, but also be in the rotunda, be on the rail and talk, because I'm guessing that's what you did as a policy advocate, was talking to legislators and helping shape legislation. Then, so you have experience in shaping policy through legislation.
Oh yeah, no, I mean literally by far, the thing I'm proudest of recently was actually the child tax credit. Complete shout out to Representative Mary Beth Canty of Arlington Heights.
She's great.
She's awesome, isn't she? Right?
She is she's just like a fire plug, man. She is she's got energy. She's enthusiastic.
Yes.
She means it. Yeah.
And she's also an example of what I hope to do with my campaign. She represents a district that is kind of competitive. Guess what? There's Republicans. She actually has to listen to them.
Right.
And so what she did with the child tax credit was make it balanced. Specifically, it had that sliding scale that actually is a really unifying idea. And so then when we passed it, it passed in a bipartisan way. And the beautiful thing about that is that it also then was able to be implemented easily. I mean, I've worked on other legislation that was much more divisive. And the thing was, it wasn't easy to implement. And if we're not implementing things, what's the point? It's not making a difference in people's lives.
I agree with that. I have so many things I want to talk about. We're talking to Jesse Rojo, who is running for the state representative district of Illinois' 52. We'll talk more about. I know. Sorry. We'll talk more about what that area encompasses, but I know it's including Barrington.
It's Cook County, King County, Lake County, McHenry County.
Jeez,
it's a district.
All right, folks, look up your district. More after this on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150.
Out Chicago.
The media has been manipulated with propaganda and fear, and this is what has brought us where we are today. More than ever, people are looking at just one news source, and that's
what they're doing, they're looking at their
phones.
phone.
Well, that's their source.
They are looking
that's their
at
source.
Yeah, I know. They are looking at their phone. They are hearing opinion. They're hearing misinformation. They are not looking at sources.
Catch Out Chicago every Sunday, 11 to 1 on WCPT 820.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio is Jesse Rojo, who's running for state representative for Illinois' 52nd district. Yep. And we're thrilled to have you in studio. Off the air, he told me something that he also was a semi-professional martial arts competitor.
Yeah, mixed martial arts. Way back in high school to build the resume to get me to U Chicago. Don't know if it was worth it, though. Body hurts constantly.
What belt did you get up to? Are there belts in mixed martial arts?
So it's like, have you ever seen UFC?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's essentially MMA. My belt, I won a championship at 125 pounds when I was an amateur. I tried for 135 pounds, tried for double champ, did not win that, and then. Yeah, I'm not getting back down to 125 again. That's for sure.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I did. Well, the reason because in Chicago we had a Deggerberg, a mixed martial arts academy, and they did belts.
Yeah.
So I made it to orange belt, and this is in my 20s, and
just a few years ago. That's okay.
A few years ago, yeah. And but then after orange belt, they started. You're supposed to get headgear, protection and stuff like that. But I hadn't bought it yet, and this guy kept bapping me in the face, and I'm like, dude, I'm a stand-up comic. I go out for auditions. I can't be getting bruises. And he told me to move faster, and I was like, we're done here.
It builds character getting punched in the face.
Sure, but if I had headgear on, that'd be fine. But like this dude clearly thought it was funny to slap a girl in the face, so I was done with that.
Probably a good choice there.
Yeah, exactly. So we've been talking to Jesse about his Vision for Change page. If you go to Jesse Rojo, Rojo for Illinois, that's ROJO for Illinois.org. That's 4 is spelled out for Illinois.org, and he has a plan of action page. And one of the things, so I've been a union member for over 25 years,
nice. Good,
and
good.
I was a strike captain during the SAG-AFTRA strike, and I have to say I was surprised about 10 years ago when I was working at a more conservative radio station, the number of people that had disdain and all like full-throated hatred for unions, and particularly it started with teachers unions is what I noticed.
Yeah, public unions, I would say still get some of that hatred.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, and at a time when now teachers don't even want to go into the field because of the restrictions in all these states where Moms for Liberty are absolutely decimating public education.
No, my wife's literally a 7th grade school teacher in U46. Yeah, it is not an easy job. That's not easy. That's for sure.
So you have a plan for this as far as union membership in Illinois, which is at a 34-year low, which was not helped by people like Governor Rauner when his entire agenda was to smash the unions. And we have developers who hire construction workers who are. It's funny when we talk about undocumented workers, they're only going after us, people that look like us or have names like us, and yet we know that there are Irish, Polish, there are Eastern European, light-skinned. Undocumented workers who are working construction sites undercutting the pay when union workers, deserve the protections that they work for. So tell us a little bit about your plan for union membership.
Yeah, I mean, so for unions, it's a few things. One is how do we increase membership? Because at the end of the day, when we have more unions, more union jobs, that is, we have more good jobs, and that just helps everybody.
Yep.
So the main one is, and this is obviously things where we have to look into, figure out the details, but I want to look into how we can streamline card checking so as to make it easier to become a union member. I also want to look into how we can expand the Public Labor Relations Act so that it actually covers independent contractors. And I think that especially is where we have a huge problem. I mean, right now, what's it called? The gig economy, right? And I say this as an independent contractor. I have 4 or 5 jobs, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
None
Same.
of them benefits, none of that, right?
Well,
we have to figure out how to make sure that these people who are just trying to, survive can actually enter into a union so that then they have a good job. And then really another facet is how can we support small businesses so that they can support building a union? Because right now, I said it before, small businesses are struggling. And we as a state, we've done an incredible job. We should be damn proud about supporting workers, right? We just passed paid time off. We're hoping to pass parental leave. All of these things, incredibly proud about it. But the fact is, while McDonald's and Amazon can afford to do that, no doubt about it, and they should, small mom and pop shops can't. And when we make it that they have no support, but we're asking for these types of benefits, it is hard. So what I envision is targeted small business tax credits to help them offer those jobs and make it so that every small business job is a good job with parental leave and affordable childcare so that parents have that financial liberty that they need. And then ideally also making it so that as small business grows, they cannot strike down a union so that we can build up that union membership and make sure, again, we have good 21st century jobs, which really is what we need. I mean, right now, as I go door to door knocking, the biggest issue I'm hearing time and time again is the crisis of unaffordability. I mean, I was born in 1996, right? I know right now we're supposed to say Trump is a problem with everything. He caused everything, but I was born in 96.
Reagan. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was born in 96. Housing has increased by almost 400%. I think actually over 400%. Rent almost 400%. Health insurance over 350%. College over 300%. And wages only 111%. Families are being crushed. That American dream that brought my family here is being crushed. and we need to do something about it. And for me, I believe the key is creating good jobs, which means rewarding hard work and supporting small businesses.
When you say, one of the things that occurred to me when you were talking about that, and you mentioned, that's why I yelled Reagan, in part, and in part because, so when I ran for office, I remember I sat down with a budget guy and outstanding tax and budget policy, which is Ralph Martier. I don't know if you've ever talked to Ralph, but he's amazing.
No.
And so he gave, and this was in 2019, and so they had these charts about how the wealth of the wealthiest in Illinois, the top 10%, their wealth has gone up over 110% since 1979, and ours has gone up. The working class has gone up by maybe 9%. Yeah. And so that gap, and that was the attempt with the fair tax, which was absolutely squashed by, it was. I was telling someone today, we had billionaire against billionaire for several years. We had, Rauner against the state of Illinois, Rauner and Pritzker, then Pritzker and Ken Griffin. Ken Griffin was successful in killing the fair tax, which was, it is one of those things where when you're explaining, I guess you're losing, that the fair tax was only going to affect and go up for people who were earning over $250,000 a year. And while it wasn't a lot for people under $250,000, it was still going to go down by
$34 a year.
Right. However, if we can close that wealth gap that we have, that's cratered the working class in Illinois, like you're talking about, that's something too. What are your thoughts on healthcare? Because a lot of legislators will say, "Oh, there's not really a hunger to change the way our healthcare system is in Illinois." Yeah.
So actually, first I want to go back to the fair tax, because I was actually the volunteer coordinator for one of those campaigns, and I really kind of just a little bit have to push back about Ken destroying it, right? I hear so often after that failed, it's fear-mongering, it's misinformation, it's lies.
Please help me.
I did over 10,000, coordinated over 10,000 phone calls. One time I actually heard, I don't want billionaires to pay more in taxes. And that guy was a literal billionaire. I was like, okay, bro, that's fair. Goodbye.
Right.
The majority of the time, though, it was, I don't trust Springfield. Where's that money going to go? And here's the magical part.
But don't you think that was what Ken Griffin's campaign was about? Was
Pointing
it Springfield?
That out.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But it wasn't misinformation in that case.
Okay.
We weren't clear where that money was going to go. We weren't. In the advocacy community, we were like, once a fair tax passed, we're going to have money for the earned income credit. We're going to have money for mental health. We're going to have money for affordable housing. We're going to have money for property tax relief. Guys, it's not that much money.
So who takes a responsibility on that as to why?
I don't think anybody took responsibility on that.
Who should, though? Well, we'll talk off the air about that. We're trying to win over.
Let's not point fingers. Let's think, how can we improve in the future? And
I like pointing fingers. I'm kidding. I'm teasing you.
I think for me, it's making sure that we're clear with people that taxes suck. I'm a Democrat. Chair of a Democratic veteran organization, okay? I've done a lot for this party. But I'm sorry, taxes suck. Plain and simple. They suck. But they're the price we pay for a good society. But there's the problem. People aren't feeling that. They're paying the price that's worth it. They aren't feeling the benefit. That's why if we talk about taxes, we should also be quick to talk about the fact that our taxes are funding the earned income child tax credit to reward hard work. Our taxes are funding early intervention to make sure a child with developmental delays gets the help that they need. Our taxes are funding CCAP to make sure that a family can have childcare and not have to have a mother stay at home. That's how we can talk about that issue. And I feel like it's something we should look at in the future.
Okay, well, from that, just got a plan.
Yeah, I think it's healthcare, right?
We're going to come back to that because I'm going to keep you. I'm going to keep Jesse Rojo is in studio with me. Do you want to take phone calls? I think find out what people are curious about. If anyone, Lady Beak, if we can open the phone lines, if you have a question for Jesse Rojo, who's running for state representative of the 52nd district in Illinois, we'll find out more about that area and communities that encompasses. If you're not calling to talk to Jesse, I will take your calls a little bit later in the show because we have him here with us right now. 6 o'clock. We'll open up the phone lines at 6 o'clock for roundtable discussions about anything you want to talk about. But right now, I'd like to hear any thoughts or questions you might have for Jesse Rojo, who's running for state representative of Illinois' 52nd district. And even though he's running there, it doesn't mean he doesn't have questions about what our legislature can do and what our Illinois politicians can accomplish in our state government. More in a moment on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A heat advisory continues. Isolated thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise clear. Still very warm, a low temperature of 80 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered storms with a high of 97, and the heat index as high as 105. Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 80. Saturday, scattered storms with a high of 85 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Stephanie Miller.
Bob Cesca joins us now.
Oh, God, shut down the internet. Can we just shut it down? We just got to unplug it. We need a timeout from the internet.
Yeah.
All of American society. I think, you know what? I say that half jokingly, but the other half is like, yeah. As someone who worked his entire career on the internet, I feel like we just weren't evolved enough. We weren't ready when it came along. Came along way too soon.
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings, 8 to 11 on WCPT 820. You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home with Jesse Rojo, Democrat for State Representative of Illinois' 52nd District. Again, this is for the General Assembly in our capital. This is, I'll ask someone who their state rep is, and then they'll tell me, like, Schakowsky. And to be fair, before I really got involved in Springfield, I would have been the same way. I'd been like, I think Durbin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's but your state representative, and what I learned in Springfield, because when Governor Rauner made those horrifying cuts on a Good Friday, April 15th of 2015, and essentially zeroed out programs like the Autism Program of Illinois, Meals on Wheels, Easter Seals. What's happening nationally is what Governor Rauner did, saying that these cuts, they're for the next fiscal year, and that's what they're doing with this budget. And people think, it's not gonna affect people. They're not gonna know till after the midterms, but they have to project what their budget's going to be. And Easter Seals closed within 5. They locked their doors. They didn't close, but they suspended programs that they didn't know how they were going to fund going forward.
Oh, I know. That's happening right now.
Right.
That's literally happening to me right now. I mean, right? You remember the 5 jobs. 2 of them are the coordinator of the United Palatine Coalition and the director of the Evanston Early Childhood Council. I'm still waiting on confirming funding. I mean, it's wild. And honestly, I'm kind of lucky because I had an inkling, Vice President Harris wasn't going to win. And then when that happened, I had an inkling that Trump was going to screw everything over. And so I didn't buy a house this May like my wife and I were hoping to.
Yeah.
Ended up being for the better. But literally right now, I'm still waiting to make sure I even have a job. And that's the trickle effect. That's why this stuff is so scary. That's because then you have to look at it. If that job gets shut down, those childcare centers that I support aren't going to have that support. They might get shut down as well, especially because we were talking about Head Start funding being cut before, right? Like that. Imagine if that would have happened. Like that's suddenly we have families without childcare. Mm-hmm. We have workers who can't go to work. We have businesses that then suffer. The trickle effect is insanity there.
How so? Is your funding does it come from obviously federal funding, but then is it both Illinois and federal, or is it all federally reliant?
No, I've got a mix of funding for all
mix
my
of funding.
jobs.
Okay,
yeah.
Not just for your jobs, but I mean like for these organizations.
It
was Illinois Palatine. What was the first one?
The United Palatine Coalition. That's one
United
of my jobs,
Palatine Coalition and Evanston. I'm writing this down for my day job so I can call you. And no, really, because I'm trying to find out how these effects are starting to impact communities. Throughout the state.
Of stories for you on that.
Yeah, because people are afraid, and you're amongst hundreds of thousands of people across the country. I have a niece and nephew in Wisconsin who work for the University state of Wisconsin who have been told not to expect to have work after September.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They're researchers and things like that. So for folks who are, looking at your campaign website and learning more about you, talk to folks about how important it is to have a state legislator in their communities who wants to hear their stories, wants to work with policy, and create an environment where people can thrive.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest way to describe that is things aren't good right now. Let's just be clear, right? Republican, Democrat, I don't care who you are. Things kind of suck right now, and they've sucked for a while. We've been dealing with this crisis of unaffordability for a while, and what's going to solve it isn't finger pointing, it isn't talking points, and it's not just winning an election by standing for nothing or whatever, right? What's going to solve these problems is solutions, and in my opinion, that's policy, good policy, and that's not easy. It's not. People don't want to talk about it. It's not easy to campaign on that, as I'm seeing literally right now. Like, I'm pretty good at talking, and that gives me a benefit, but it's still kind of a challenge, right? But at the end of the day, good policy is what makes a difference. And what makes it good, in my opinion, is having that type of collaboration across different cultures, across different geographic, across having collaboration with people who don't even agree with you. And that's really hard. I get it. It is nowadays difficult to talk to somebody who doesn't agree with you, but it's necessary, not just because I've experienced that it makes better balanced policy, but also in having that effort, it makes it so that we can implement legislation. When we pass things without even caring about the other side, we can't then be surprised when the other side fear-mongers and lies and makes it so that people are scared about legislation and that legislation is implemented.
Right. And I remember saying this on porches a lot, because even though we get our turf, and for folks who've never been door knocking, there's basically this data that you can download into your phone. You have targeted doors so that you're going to people who have, you're talking to folks who have voted for Democrats in the past in primaries. But you'll also get Republicans who, for whatever reason, have pulled a Democratic ballot, wanted to vote for somebody, and so you're talking to them. And I agree. I would always tell them, like, well, look, we don't agree on this, but if I win, I'm still going to represent you, and I want you to know, I need to know your story so that I can represent you fully in Springfield. And I think that's important. And I know that as a radio host, I'm angry about a lot of things, really? And I get frustrated with people who voted not only against their own interests, but the safety of so many people in their communities. It's very hard. So I on this show, all my emotions are on the surface, but ultimately I really don't want anyone to suffer. As angry as I sound about things, I truly think that love is part of what has to drive a candidate. Loving the people in their community, loving the people in their country, loving the people on this planet, our future. And so at any rate, I'm not running again. I feel like I'm like, what speech am I giving? Pardon me, everybody.
No, I mean, honestly, though, with that, I think I might be biased. Let's be clear. I grew up in a very conservative Catholic household. I served in the military where there are a lot of conservative, independent, anti-establishment, everything in between. I've lived my life surrounded by the extremes of both sides, that diversity of ideology. But no, I genuinely think it's a good thing to choose unity. One thing I find that actually genuinely helps, though, because Trump voters can be frustrating, is to do what I call a level of Trumpism. Level 1's the bigots, screw them, we don't want to talk to them, we shouldn't talk to them. Level 2, though, is the ones that are genuinely, they voted for him because they just wanted change that bad. It was that hard to afford to live. That's my dad. He voted for Trump because it was just that hard to own a small business. And guess what? It's harder now, right? Exactly. It's harder now. So we should be able to get them.
Did he immigrate here?
Yeah, from Mexico. Yeah. So he should be able to now vote for Democrats. I believe he and others in that level will as well. Then level 3, though, this is the unique one, the hard one. This is my my brother, right? Is those who voted for Trump because they just don't like Democrats. Yeah. And that's the one where we should, hypothetically, Trump is so unpopular, we should be able to get them. But there's the thing we don't talk about enough. Trump's unpopular. The Democratic Party is more unpopular. I mean, a recent CNN poll showed that I should have it right here. We're at a 28% approval rating. That's not being Trump. Saying Trump sucks is not going to be enough, I think.
What do you well, yeah. And so back to the policy idea, and this is something that I've thought about, and I've talked to people from Indivisible, Illinois, who I think do a good job of messaging, right? Yeah.
We got a local charter, Indivisible Barrington. Anybody in the Barrington area, please look them up. Incredible group.
Yes, right. And I think that, I had a conversation with one of the board members, and we were talking about it needs to be not just, saying Trump all the time, but the policy of the Republican Party, right? It has to be the policy of the Republican Party that is highlighted, that we shine a light on every time a clinic closes or senior services are shut off. People need to be, whether it's a mail or it's a billboard or whatever it is, it is going to get harder, and it's going to get painful. It's not just going to get harder. It's already painful. I mean, I went to this wonderful film festival, and the last film at Cinefem was a couple going into the immigration offices in order to do it the right way. Yeah. Right? I know it's fictionalized, but we know what's happening. And I was in the back just weeping because here are people who are doing it the right way and then getting scooped up, going through the process. People are dying.
Yeah, I had a press conference with Congressman Rojo and Jackson a few weeks ago, right outside one of those locations, right? And I literally, it sucks. I saw two soldiers. I'm not going to share their names or anything, right? Oh. But they were escorting their mom there because they were that scared that their mom, who's doing everything the right way, everything that, people are like, oh, they're skipping lines. It's like, no, she's in the line. She's trying to do it right. And they're still that scared. And I feel that. I've got family right now trying to do it the right way, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Fortunately, my parents, they're citizens now, but that's because it was easier back then. Things are hard right now. That's why we need solutions, though, and it's seriously, it's terrifying, man. I get a little emotional. I ain't gonna lie. Families are living in fear, and that's not okay.
No, and I don't. It's so strange. My mom is 90, and I don't assume anything. We made sure that her passport was up to date. She has an accent. She speaks, and I shouldn't even have to say that. What if she speaks Spanish, or has an accent? I shouldn't, she has dark skin. This woman came to the United States. She worked on Y2K, Jesse, for the federal government. She helped make sure that, things didn't go to hell, when the clocks rolled over.
Saved us.
She was an essential worker for the federal government. So let me read a couple of the texts that are coming in. And can you stay longer? Because
I'm good. I'm chilling.
You can be my guest co-host if you're good to hang out.
Sure.
My guest co-host
else to do.
Rising Sidecars, Jesse Rojo, running for the Illinois 52nd District for this representative seat. Good to hear. So let's go back to the earliest. Somebody asked if you were a libertarian. They said, well, that was asked and answered. You are not a libertarian. Do you want to be a libertarian?
No, I will give a shout out, though, to the idea of libertarian,ism. Live and let live. The actual in practice is BS.
Yeah, they are. They hate Democrats more than anybody else, it seems like. They really hate Democrats.
I'm biased here. One of my best friends, who's also a veteran, is a libertarian, and I love the dude to absolute pieces because he's got the courage to stand up to other veterans and be like, look at what Trump is doing. He gives me that wiggle room because I'm the sole Democrat, the youngest guy in the group very often, right? And I hesitate, and he's just like, hey, yo, guys, where's the Epstein files? So I'll shout out him.
Outstanding.
Just him.
All right, that's one text. We'll get to some more later because right now we have a guest coming up on the show. In just a moment, we're going to talk to Mike Cobbs, who is the chair of the Kankakee Democratic Party. I love my friends in Kankakee. I don't love everybody in Kankakee. I love everybody.
But I love Kankakee.
I know. So do I. So let's talk to Mike Cobbs in just a moment. When we come back on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150. We are in studio with Jesse Rojo, who is running for state representative of the 52nd District. You can go to rojo4illinois.org. That's ROJO for FOR Illinois.org. More in a moment on WCPT and KKNW. I said that already, but it bears repeating.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
A lot of people struggle with mobility as they get older. That's because as we age, we tend to lose muscle mass and our joints stiffen up. It takes us longer to recover when we injure ourselves. But if you want to be one of those more spry seniors, here's what you need to know. When you stop moving through a full range of motion regularly, your body adapts by reducing that range. This is according to Dana Santis, a certified strength and conditioning coach. She says, think about how you move throughout your day, reaching, pulling, squatting, twisting, and make sure you're training for those functional movements. Be sure to move throughout the day, not just when you exercise. And one way to do that is by something known as habit stacking, where you pair an exercise with something that you already do. Like, for example, maybe you do a wall sit while you're brushing your teeth. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining me as we continue to drive it home. We're so glad that you're here. Joining me in studio is candidate for Illinois' 52nd state representative seat, Jesse Rojo. Go to Go to rojoforillinois.org. That's rojoforillinois.org. Do not go to the other one. Do not go to the other one. Joining us on the line right now is Mike Cobbs, chair of the Kankakee Democratic Party, and we are excited. By the way, Mike, how are you doing today? So how are things going in your neck of the woods?
Busy. We got a lot of great candidates running with Durbin leaving and Robin moving around. There's a lot of movement going on in Kankakee County.
Yeah, I was just talking to Jesse Rojo, who's running for office in Illinois' 52nd, which is kind of the north and west of Chicago, yeah. And you know, a lot of Republicans in his neck of the woods as well. What are you hearing from conservative voters? Are any of them reaching out and like kind of like going, mate, well, let's see what you guys are all about?
So,
is that for me or Jesse?
For you. Oh, it's all for you.
Well, you know, I think they're still kind of hesitant. I think they're kind of wait and see approach. I think that my candidates is going to bring more and more, and the more we have to deal with the big ugly bill, the more they're going to get on board.
Yeah, I think that's right. And Jesse was mentioning before the break that the one thing that you know, conservatives dislike more than Trump, it's Democrats.
Yeah, you have a point there.
I know a thing or two sometimes, right, Mike?
You got it right.
Yeah, and what kind of what do you see as being sort of the messaging? We were talking about how, you know, Democrats aren't polling well. You know, is it calling attention to the horrible effects of not Trump? It is sending the message, ringing the alarm bell that it's the policy of the Republican Party that is at fault here, and it's not. It didn't start with Trump. We got here over decades, right?
Mm. Yeah, of course, yes, of course, that's correct, and they are a party to his mismanagement, if you will.
Absolutely,
and they have to take responsibility in that as well, because their constituents are going to get hit by some of the decisions made by these Republicans in the state of Illinois and abroad.
Yeah, I think that's right. And in Kankakee, you do have, you know, some very loud conservatives, correct?
They're not that loud.
They're not that loud.
I've heard different there, Mike. I don't know.
I've worked with one.
Yeah, I got some conservatives here.
Yeah, couple, 2, 3.
But yeah, we got a few here. Yeah, I'm not going to question that at all.
No, I know. It is. You know, look, I do a lot of volunteering in Wisconsin because I see a lot of the races there having such an impact on our state as well and the rest of the country. What are some of the events you have coming up, or people who might live in? Because we do reach Kankakee. How can folks get involved with the Kankakee Dems?
Well, I'll say this: if you want to get involved with the Kankakee Dems, visit our Facebook page. Additionally, you know, we still have a meeting. The fourth Tuesday every month. It's at the Growth Center, 310 Northwest Northwest Avenue in Bourbon, Illinois. And our emails are still going. You can sign up for one of the rallies. I have to give a lot of credit to the people who are managing these rallies. We've had one rally, we had 500. The last one to get in good trouble, we had at least 100 people there, and we got people stepping up to our tent volunteering.
And I know that this is so much work to get people involved, to get people, informed about the issues. What are some of the issues that you're hearing from folks about that are important to them?
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest thing right now, what's important to a lot of people is their health care. Yeah. And especially being in Kankakee, surrounded by rural areas, a lot of hospitals are going to get hit hard.
Absolutely. I know that there are 9 rural hospitals that are vulnerable just to be closed altogether. And I believe 93 senior centers are also vulnerable. That's heartbreaking and terrifying. Are you hearing from those places that, because are you also still serving on your city hall in Kankakee?
Yes, I'm still the alderman of the 6th ward in the city of Kankakee.
So you do it all. You get phone calls about garbage cans and health care. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and, we've had some challenges with economic development with some of the grants that we are trying to achieve to help common citizens. So it's hitting us at all levels.
Now, by the way, my guest in studio, Jesse Rojo, has served with the U.S. Army. He was wondering, are you also serving the military?
I'm a Marine.
Yeah. He almost said it.
Me and Mike actually met before. Mike, I'm the chair of Illinois Veterans for Change. So during Billy Morgan's campaign, I actually went down there and spoke in front of Kankakee Dems over at the center. Yeah, man, that was Billy was an incredible candidate who really embraced what patriotism means. That it means loving a country enough to actually want to make it better. So a great job recruiting him, supporting him, and an incredible job in that district. I believe that was District 79. I mean, Billy deserved to win it, and I was proud to have helped him.
I'm so glad that you helped Billy, and I do remember you coming to speak to the Central Committee. And Billy has been I tell you this, one of the concerns we have here in Kankakee is candidates who need our vote, and we never see them again because they live so far north. Billy has been a great friend, in vetting some of the upcoming candidates, it's important that, one, they bring out the vote, that they come here and that they campaign enough to boost the vote. One of the things we've had an issue with throughout the country is low voter turnout, and that plagues the city of Kankakee, particularly in the Democratic community. So what we're going to have to do is let people know how important it is that they not sit at home.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's the hard part too. I mean, we've talked about voter apathy. We've talked about not wanting to be a part of it. And I get a lot of what difference does it make? Are you still hearing that? What difference does it make? They're all bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could say I wasn't, but yeah, but they aren't so bad where. It's affecting your health care. It isn't so bad where it's affecting your groceries. It isn't so bad where it's affecting imported goods. So if we look at how, and I say this as the chairman and elected official, we have a direct impact on the quality of life of our constituents. And that's something that we really need to take very serious about what we do and what we volunteer to do and why we do it.
Very well said, Mike. I mean, the way I was just talking to Patty, right? I genuinely believe that politics can be an avenue to creating change and helping people. And in Kankakee, Central Illinois in general, where we're going to be seeing the impact of the big ugly bill. I mean, right now we have so many food deserts, childcare deserts, so little rural hospital support. I mean, the big ugly bill is going to tear apart Kankakee and so many other similar communities. So I think it's a opportunity to really turn out the vote and give people hope if we do it correctly. But it matters who are those candidates. So, I mean, how's that process of recruiting candidates been?
I'm glad you asked.
Not easy.
Well,
huh?
recruiting candidates is always a challenge. But like I said, with what's going on right now in the 2nd Congressional and Durban seat, there are a lot of people that I'm talking to. And what concerns me most is if I pick a candidate and that candidate wins, he has a positive impact on my community. Because at the end of the day, all politics are, they say local but personal. because the decisions that these people make affect the lives of my constituents on a very, very personal level.
Absolutely.
Oh, I was just going to say, how has that energy been with the Senate race or upcoming the state comptroller race? I mean, we're about to have actual competition. I mean, we've got some excitement. I think 2026 is going to be a big year. How's that feeling down there with whether the second or the Senate or the state comptroller? How are Kankakee Democrats getting excited? And are you hoping that it might, boost the turnout, which is clearly so obviously needed?
Of course, I'm hoping that it boosts the turnout. That's the utmost. But I have to say, sometimes I feel like Kankakee is a small county, but it's really on the map now. And my thing, a lot of people are going to be jockeying for positions within Cook County. So who can handle Kankakee County may have the determining factor of who wins these elections.
That is such a good point. By the way, speaking of your community, again, we just have a texter said, hey, someone is saying that we are sponsored by Minocqua Brewing Company, by the way.
Yeah,
so they're very excited because they said that now Liquor World in Meadowview Shopping Center carries Progressive Brews from our sponsor. So I'm very excited about that. They've got some Underground Railroad Hazy IPA, Resistance Pilsner. So if by the way, Alderman, if you want to find some place to stock up on your brews, you've got some place to go now.
That's good to know.
And that's the thing is, like, when you have these events, whether it's, we went to a barbecue in McLean County a couple weeks ago and had a really good time. Yeah, we did their bags, brews, and barbecue, and there were candidates there. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton was there. I know a few of the local candidates were there, and people were very happy to meet them because the question people ask is, like, where did you come from? Like, what makes you qualified to be someone who's elected to represent me? And so what do you think about this field of candidates that we have at some of these? We've got Margaret Croak for comptroller right now has been endorsed, but I think Karina Villa is still going to run, possibly Holly Kim. That's going to be an interesting race. I know that you mentioned Durbin's seat. What are you hearing from people about those races? I know it's kind of early now, but petitions go out in just a couple weeks.
August 5th, yeah.
Well, a couple of things, though. We just had a huge fundraiser. We had Juliana, we had Raja, we had Robin. We had 3 candidates that were interested in the congressional, and I had conversations with all of them. So it's been a lot of energy, to say that with what's going on, and I like all the candidates. I don't know what to say.
Well, it's good to have a rich have a rich field of candidates who, as you mentioned, bring a lot of energy. For more information about the Kankakee Democrats, you can find information on my page as well, on the Patti Vasquez Show page, pinned right there today. Not pinned, but it's in there. It's in the mix. Scroll down and look for today's show. You'll see a picture there of Alderman Mike Cobbs. We're thrilled to have you on the show and look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
All right. Look, anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care, Mike.
Let's take a break here. Take care. Let's take a break here. We'll continue with our guest. And now we'll open up the phone lines for any conversation. What's on your mind? 773-763-9278. Jesse Rojo is running for Illinois' 52nd state legislative representative seat. Oh, it's so many words. It's so many words.
52nd district state representative.
Rojo for Illinois.org. More in a moment on WCPT and KKNW.
Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. Find Active Liver at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The House subcommittees voted to subpoena the Justice Department for files in the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, with 3 Republicans joining Democrats. Earlier in the day, Speaker Mike Johnson.
There's no point in having a vote today because the administration is already doing everything within their power to release them. They've gone to the grand jury. They've requested the courts to unseal the documents so that they can be released. The president himself has said all credible evidence should be put out to the American people.
But a federal judge has rejected the Trump administration request to unseal grand jury transcripts from investigations of Epstein in Florida. A similar request is pending in New York. Meantime, at the White House, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard made allegations against former President Obama and his aides.
They conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration.
President Trump's announcement of a trade deal with Japan helped send stocks to more records. The S&P rose 0.8%, while the Nasdaq added 0.6%. The Dow jumped 507 points, or about 1.1%. Meantime, Lisa Dwyer has Tesla's latest financial results.
The fallout from Elon Musk's plunge into politics a year ago is still hammering his Tesla business, as both sales and profits dropped sharply again in the latest quarter for the third quarter in a row. The car company has faced boycotts for months. Revenue dropped 12% and profits slumped 16% as buyers continued to stay away. Quarterly profits at the electric vehicle, battery, and robotics company fell to $1.17 billion. That's down from $1.4 billion. Revenue fell from $25.5 billion to $22.5 billion, but slightly above Wall Street's forecast. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
This is AP News. Sentencing today for a man who pleaded guilty to killing 4 college students.
Brian Kohberger was sentenced to life in prison for the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Kohberger pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty.
His actions have made him the worst of the worst.
Judge Stephen Hippler pointed out Kohberger gave nothing hinting of remorse, redemption, or regret.
I will not attempt to speak about him further, other than to simply sentence him so that he is forever removed from civilized society.
Kohberger did not speak in court, but family members and friends of the victims did.
Sociopath, psychopath, murderer.
Dylan Mortensen was a roommate of the victims.
He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy.
It may never be known why Kohberger did it or how he came to target the 4 students. I'm Ed Donahue.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A heat advisory continues. Isolated thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise clear. Still very warm, a low temperature of 80 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered storms with a high of 97, and the heat index as high as 105. Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 80. Saturday, scattered storms with a high of 85 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
Hey Progressives, this is Richard Chu, host of Chu's Views here on WCPT AM 820, 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. We have some real challenges in front of us as a country. Since the beginning of this show, I have always felt compelled to bring you the best that I've got. Now, there's always a why to doing whatever we do. So, as we go forward and face these challenges, know this, you listeners are my why. Because I want to make sure I do everything I can to provide a safe, open, forward-moving space that allows you to call, email, text, or just listen to a guy that wants to help you bring out your own championship qualities to truly make this place better for us all. Lofty goal, idealistic, maybe so. But that's my why, and I look forward to bringing you the best that I've got. This is Richard Chu. Stay tuned.
Chicago's progressive talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation. And welcome our friends listening on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Thank you so much for joining us, the progressive voice of Minnesota. And, of course, our friends listening on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, Washington, the alternative talk of Seattle. And we're here in Chicago on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. And hi to our friends watching on Heartland Signal. I want to get to Georgie's comments in the comment section of our Facebook live feed as well, because I think that's something maybe Jesse and I can address. Jesse is my guest co-host today, Jesse Rojo, who is running for state representative of Illinois' 52nd district. State representative is there are 119 state representatives and 59 or 60.
59, I believe.
59 senators.
118 and 50. 118 and 59 for 2-to-1 ratio.
Right. So every state district for senator has 2 representatives. They basically are. So they share the seat. So I was just giving folks some background. If you're not familiar with your Illinois politics, I'm not sure how it works in other states. You can Google that.
There's some wild ones.
I heard.
Dude, New Mexico doesn't even pay their legislators. During the DNC, we hosted the Veterans Party with Vote Vets and so many other people, and we had the Veterans Caucus from New Mexico come, and I connected with them. We ended up going on a phone call, and they were telling me about that. Can you imagine not paying your legislators? Who do you think is going to do that job? The ones that want to use it for their own benefit.
Yes. And I think West Virginia, I can't remember if it was Virginia, West Virginia, a friend of mine was in the legislature there. If he's a friend of mine, how do I not know which one? But I haven't talked to him in years. We did the Wounded Warrior Games. He was the coordinator for that, and I was covering I went down to Fort Bliss where they were training. It was amazing. I'll have to send you some audio and video of that. But he had served in his state legislature, and it was like $14,000. Now, in Illinois, I don't know what your thoughts are, but they gave themselves basically over the last few years have given themselves. They went from $69,000 a year to over $90,000 a year, more than 20% pay raise in that stretch of time. That's significant because a lot of them. There's one legislator that you and I were talking about off the air, and I was in his office when I was seeking the seat. He was moving seats, whatever, and he leaned back in his chair and he said, I don't know if you really want this job. I was making. I basically have lost about $250,000 being a lawyer because I'm a state legislator. I'm like, am I supposed to feel sorry for you? Yeah. There's a lot of...
I've heard that so many times.
Right? Property tax attorneys, and I get it. And there's lawyers, and they have this other income. And I know that there are some, like Representative Jaime Andrade, that it is his primary job. I mean, he hustles in order to complement his salary. But at any rate, you don't have to... Do you want to share your thoughts on their pay raises?
I mean, I don't think it makes that much sense considering how much we're struggling. The one thing I will say that something we can look into. Again, this is just an idea, not too detailed. I haven't written a policy report on this, but maybe tying that income to the income of the average person in Illinois. Maybe making it so that we as legislators, right, the royal we or whatever it's called, right, legislators actually earn a raise if they actually invest in working families and build out our middle class, bring more folks here, create a stronger economy. I mean, I believe in rewarding hard work, and I think that might be one idea. I don't know, just off the top of my head.
The crowd goes wild. They like that one. Standing ovation. Standing ovation. I like that one. Yeah. Let's get to some of our phone calls. We've got Jesse Rojo in studio with us. If you have questions about his race or just any topic on your mind now, the phone lines are open and the text screen is available to you as well. And I'm going to get to those texts in a moment. Let's get to Jim in Chicago because he was getting a busy signal for a while and now can get through. Hey, Jim.
That's right. That's right, buddy. Hi, Jesse.
Hey there, Jim. How are you?
Not too bad. What a Lulu of a news day.
Yeah.
It starts this morning. It starts this morning. The Trump administration says, we'll dole out AI, artificial intelligence, like they ever even doled enough of it out. But they're going to take control of it, the Republican Party, like another QAnon series. And the other thing that got me was the Epstein files. Child pornography he's got in the safe. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of a story. My younger brother owned about a dozen of those Subway joints, and we were out drinking one night, and I said to him, I think you got to do it. You got to get somebody to make these sandwiches beneficial, somehow. Anyway, they got that guy, the incredible shrinking man. He was 300 pounds. He went down to about 90 pounds eating Subway sandwiches all day. Well, he got involved in child pornography. He got about 20 years.
Oh, right, Jared.
For it.
Yeah.
I saw the Hulu documentary.
He got about 20 years for it. And I often thought he must think when he's sitting in prison, he was better off as a heavy-set guy with no money because he probably never went to prison.
Yeah.
But but the point is.
Yep.
The point is that we're dealing. I mean, that is a psychiatrist. I remember psychiatrists 50 years ago when they talked about child abuse and child pornography and so on and so forth. They said that was the hardest nut to crack. It was incurable. As far as this is like 40 years ago, and so it's some who knows what psychological dementia you got to do that. But we've got a president hanging around with a child pornographer. I mean, if you can believe this or not, at his wedding.
Yep.
And then to bump off the story this morning, what was he going? Going to tirade about President Obama? This is a QAnon theory.
Yeah,
but it's a QAnon theory, Patty and Jesse. That's a QAnon theory that I heard when I used to listen to the ministers late at night. The Republican ministers late at night. Yes, Obama's a child pedophile and.
Oh God, I know.
I remember you said that.
You missed a story. There's another story I just heard a little while ago that President Macron and his wife, the president of France, is suing Candace Owens for saying that she's a trans woman, and I'm like, yes, because I'm sorry, and I know there are people that in my sort of universe that I know that really believe like Michelle Obama is trans. Like, I'm sorry, folks, this is the stupidest path you could take, is to attack a person because they don't fit some vision of femininity that you believe in. By the way, Jesse Rojo does nothing. This does not reflect his candidacy or campaign whatsoever.
I got something to say on my campaign. Honestly,
I'm so angry.
I'll help you shut them up. It's a really cool thing. Anytime you
hold on,
one second, Jim. I was just gonna say, if you ever need to shut up somebody who's so focused on trans or boys in girls' bathrooms, right? I kept having this Facebook troll, and he hasn't trolled me anymore after I said, I'm not gonna lie with you. I'm not as obsessed with what's between people's legs as you are.
I know. It's crazy.
He didn't talk much about that. Anyways, Jim, I cut you off there, brother.
Jim.
My apologies.
Yeah, that's right, Jesse. Just when you get elected, bring some intelligence back to the whatever body you're working in. Because I listen to the intelligence community today. They are absolutely perplexed by this insanity. Because our intelligence community, they're apolitical. Then they should be apolitical because you're dealing with intelligence. But we're not getting any from the Republican Party, Jesse. So win and yell your head off because, we need it. Anyway, you guys have a great night.
Appreciate you, Jim.
Appreciate Jim. Take care. Let me take Roosevelt's call. Hey, Roosevelt, you're on with me and Jesse Rojo, candidate for Illinois' 52nd District State Representative seat. What's up?
Hey, both of you. I spoke to you before, Jesse.
Hey,
how you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, Roosevelt? Got to remind me when we spoke, though, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Hey, man. Well, both of you. Isn't it some crazy stuff going down with all this? They're trying to cover up all this stuff. It's not going to be able. They're not going to be able to do it. And whatever they do, nobody's going to believe anything that comes out of anybody's mouth. And I do mean anybody. That includes what's her name, the one that's in jail for 22 years.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. So either one, in my opinion, either one or the two are going to happen. Either she's going to, I don't know, the same thing that happened to Epstein's going to happen, or they're going to do a deal, or they're going to do a deal with her where she goes up in front. Because who's going to believe anything that they fix? Meaning between Trump and what's her name? I can't think of it.
Maxwell,
Bondi.
Bondi, yeah. Okay.
Who's going to believe that? I mean, now, according to what was reported by the Wall Street Journal, now there's they had a meeting between Trump and Bondi, and his name is mentioned. She told him that his name was mentioned in all of these things. So all this stuff is out already. So who's going to believe the opposite, meaning that his name wasn't mentioned, that he wasn't provided a young lady for whatever? And so nobody's going to believe that because it's gone too far the other way, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something a little controversial here. There was something about the Republican Party I used to respect, which is that they really cracked down on child predators. They really focused on how disgusting that is and how we just heard about, Subway guy getting 20 years in prison. The amount of times I heard that guy should have gone 200 years, that spoke to me. And yet what's going on now? That's like, again, I've got a lot of Republican friends, a lot of Republican family. It's just wild to see what's going on now where suddenly, oh, the Epstein files, why are you talking about that? Nobody cares. Oh, focus on Obama. It's like, you guys, like, there's not a lot I like about y'all, but I like that you were talking about releasing those files. Now go on ahead and release them. Oh, wait, you don't want to. Why? Because they told you in May Trump's on there.
Yeah. And Jesse and Patty, I recommend you guys see our Speaker of the House, and behind him was a CPAC, like a CPAC thing. Anyway, he was saying that. Well, you know what happened? That they went on recess for the next 6 weeks because, from what I understand, they had a few Republicans, the Democrats, so they could release what you said just now, Jesse. But that's why they went on recess early. And the fact that Johnson now is repeating exactly what you said, Jesse, to be specific, meaning that the trafficking of minors and all that. But it was all, you know what this reminds me of, Jesse and Patty? It reminds me of what they used to say of being a conservative and to conserve and look up to the Constitution. That went by the board, by the side. And then another thing that it reminds me of is the constantly bringing up Reagan and Reaganism and Reaganomics. You don't hear that anymore. All these three things have that in common as far as I'm concerned.
My bad.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think one of the true tragedies of Trumpism is the death of conservatism. And I say this as a liberal. Conservatism is not my ideology. I certainly don't have a lot I agree with it, but it was at least nice that in the past there was liberalism and conservatism. There was a balance. There was two different ideologies, two different ways we were trying to solve problems. Now, though, there's a death of conservatism and a replacement with Trumpism to the point where it is just not about solving problems. It is about putting money in the pockets of billionaires. It is about forgetting your core values. I mean, what happened in the Epstein files, obviously being a huge case on that, and it's just devastating. One thing I will point out, though, honestly, with the Epstein files is there's some hope. Again, I mentioned this earlier. I've got a whole bunch of Republicans in my life, love them to pieces, even if I don't agree with them, and even they're like, what the hell's going on? Even they are asking, where are those files? And it's the same. It should, at least, fingers crossed, it should be the same with us as Democrats, right? There's all these, Democrats are on there too. My response to that is,
get them.
Cool, exactly.
Get them.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. But Patty and Jesse, I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, please, go ahead, man.
Okay, so this brings me back to Nixon. I think that was the slippery slope. That's when it started. Once they pardoned Nixon, the other presidents, Republicans to be specific, did the same thing. Iran-Contra with Reagan and so on. And then with Jr., meaning Bush Jr., they are all complicit in bringing us into war and getting away with
Roosevelt, I 100% agree with you, brother. Unfortunately, we do actually have to cut you off.
Look at that. Look at him on the radio.
Thank you, brother. With all my heart, I appreciate you, and really I like what you're saying, my man.
Jesse heard the fade out music, and he's like, we wish we was going to break now, aren't we? I even had a texter said, take a break. More after this on WCPT at 20 Heartland.
Take care, Roosevelt. Appreciate you, brother.
Cheap, but the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. That's 800-708-3091.
Are you looking for more in this world? Are you ready for something bigger?
then we are looking for you. The big-hearted, the bold, the messy and the gutsy. The teachers, the growers, the builders. The skilled, the sharers, the change makers. We need you. We are the Peace Corps. In more than 60 countries, we go all in and all out. We are volunteers, partners, communities, working together, living together, bringing our experience, passion, and joy to building a better world together. From tackling climate change in Mexico to keeping kids healthy in Kenya, from sustainable farming in the Philippines to education in Kosovo. We learn more, give more, share freely, and serve boldly. Are you ready to tackle the tough stuff? To go the distance to make a difference? Then we have a place where you belong. Join us at peacecorps.gov.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining me as we continue driving home with Jesse Rojo, who's running for the Illinois 52nd District. I think he knows by our conversations off the air, I can be petty. So I'm very guarded. I try to be. I'm guarded sometimes. My husband says I would not do well in the resistance, meaning I don't have a good poker face.
Yeah,
So,
no,
yeah.
I've not noticed that about you at all.
Yeah, no.
No.
Do you? It is a thing in politics, and I sometimes think that in addition to the deals that were made for the seat that I was running for, there was also a little bit of like, well, Patty will just say anything. I mean, like you and I to your point about growing up in a conservative household, my dad was very conservative, always voted for Republicans my whole life, had language. My dad was Irish, my mom's from Mexico, and he would use language that was, yeah, thank you, that was often caustic. And I learned later in life that what he said didn't always reflect the way he treated or thought about people. And so to your point about being able to talk to conservatives, that was one of the conversations I would have with people on their porches when they would say, I would never vote for a Democrat. And they would ask me about abortion or gun legislation and things like that, which, by the way, Jesse Rojo, his page is rojoforillinois.org, also has as one of his policy issues is about gun violence in Illinois. And I appreciate that. I'm a board member for One Aim Illinois, so I appreciate that that's one of your important issues, because we really are in a situation where, you mentioned something earlier about it's one thing to pass legislation and it's another thing to make sure that it's being implemented. One of the things that occurred to me, was when these horrible floods took the lives of all these people, including young children and counselors. I went to Girl Scout camp in East Troy, Wisconsin for 6 years. It's why I spend so much time there now, because I love Wisconsin. And I don't remember ever doing a single tornado drill when I was at that camp. I think you and I were off the air. We're talking about how we will run, if there's an accident, we will run towards that accident to see if everyone's okay. My husband was laughing because he was like, yeah, if you guys, like when you were a counselor, you'd have been like walking through every tent with a bucket, big metal bucket and a ladle, banging it and like telling everyone where to muster. This is the plan. And there is legislation in Illinois that every camp has to have a disaster plan. But how is that? Yeah, but how is that? But how is it do they have to just show you the plan? Is it, what I'm saying? Like the plan should have elements to it, like every session that the kids are there, you train everybody. It's not just we have a written plan. Anyway, that's something I would.
Putting it into practice absolutely matters.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
When you're elected, I would like to talk to you about policy. And also, my other thing is water safety. Do you remember?
We might have some common ground here. What's up?
Yes. Well, because you remember, do you know Stop, Drop, and Roll?
Yes.
Why do you know that?
Middle school, elementary school, growing up near farmland. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So why don't kids know Reach, Throw, Row, Go? Right. And it would be different for kids, right? But
dude, that one hits personal actually. So in Barrington, obviously, we have a bunch of trains, and we had somebody literally hit by a young girl hit by a train because we don't have pedestrian gates there. It's implementation, public awareness, these things matter. Politics should not just be about winning elections. It should not just be about your ego. It should not just be about, I have earned this because I have done this. It's right. You have to come in with ideas because, again, there's a radical idea, I know, but politics should be about solving problems. And the only way you're going to solve problems is through ideas, through policies, specific ones, not affordable housing, not, childcare for all, whatever. How exactly are you going to do that? And it's so frustrating. It is.
But I think water safety, I think train safety, those are things that we can, growing up, it's just it's an assembly, it's a film, it's whatever. Let's take some phone calls because I got off on a track there. Steve is calling to ask you a question, specifically Jesse Rojo, candidate for the 52nd District. Hey, Steve, thank you for calling, and also thank you for your kind texts. What's on your mind, my friend?
Oh, you're very welcome. I wanted to follow up on the discussion you had earlier about Republicans who will never vote for or think that they hate Democrats.
Yeah.
And because this is one of the things that really has been bothering me for the last year or so is a lot, not all of them, but a lot of those people are that way because for 40 years, Fox News and some of the other outlets have been whispering in their ear 8 hours a day, Democrats are evil, Democrats are evil, Democrats are evil.
Right.
And I always tell people, if I sat with your mother and did that for a year and said, Patti Vasquez is evil, your mother would throw you out of the house because you're evil. How do we address that? How do we reach those people? How do we affect change?
So
other than using the parental controls to block Fox on their television.
So first, in 2024, on behalf of Illinois Veterans for Change, I traveled to, I think it was like 43 counties, almost exclusively rural red counties. And I remember literally just time and time again seeing that there was just no progressive voices. There was no progressive radio station, none of that. And again, I'm going to use my mom as an example here. She constantly gets on Facebook, Republican stuff, Obama's a Muslim, whatever it is. It's, if we're not reaching out to these people, we're not going to change their mind. And we're going to lose. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to win in these rural places right now, but we have to at least try. But, and I want to be super, super clear here, it means we have to reach out, but we also have to do so with a message. We're not going to just go show up to Madison County, knock on somebody's door. Hi, I'm a Democrat. I'm talking to you. Are you a Democrat now? No, we have to be like, hi, look at what's happening right now. Look at the problems. This is my idea for how we can solve this. What do you think about that? And that right there is how we can do this. I mean,
one of the things I always love when people would tell me, I'm a Republican or, I'm not going to vote for a Democrat. I'm like, when was the last time they were on your porch? Seriously. I mean, and they would always say never. They've never been on my porch.
Sure.
And the other thing I think maybe an element of what Steve is asking, are you doing your dishes while you're talking to me, which is fine. But this is my husband.
I don't know. I just put a set of keys in a bowl.
Oh, I was like, my husband used to always call me when he was doing the dishes, and I'm like, turn the water off. I think part of what Steve is asking is also like you say we have to have a message, but what resonates and what cuts through everything so much faster is the hate and the fear mongering. And I mean, Fox has admitted on the stand in a courtroom that they cannot tell their viewers the truth, or they will just go to Newsmax. Yeah. They just go, not Newsmax. Sorry, Newsmax, or whatever.
But came first.
Right.
Are those people like that because for 40 years they've been getting this message?
Yes.
Or were they sitting around waiting for the message?
I will also, and again, I'm 29. I'm not that old. I understand. I don't have that much wisdom, but I will look at the last few years and kind of counteract this. In 2020, we won because we weren't Trump. Okay? We thought that would be enough. But then we didn't have a unifying vision. And as a result, in 2024, we lost again. I believe that in the age of Trump, the Democratic Party should become a majority party, but we squandered the opportunity because we just took the easy route of not being Trump, of hating him. You talked about hate.
Exactly.
Guess what? Sometimes we rely on hate as well. And it is important for us to have a vision and for us to shout from the rooftop in every county that vision.
I'll let you put a pin in this. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead, Steve. Yeah.
I'm going to counter that a little bit and say
Love it.
It's actually, in my experience at least, it's the Republicans who hammer the hate. I hate to refer to it as a weakness, but one of the things that gets us is because we want everybody to be on the field and to have equal rights.
We overthink things.
That often plays as, well, you want this and you want this and you want this. It's like, no, we want everybody.
Yeah.
But you're the one coming saying, well, accept the trans, or accept the gay, or accept the Hispanic, or accept the...
I'm sorry, Steve. I'm late, and Lady B's got to be able to get this off to our friends in other parts of the country. Steve, again, thank you, very kind. And I'm gonna take your advice and make sure it's available in the studio. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation. We're gonna have I didn't mean to hit that so hard. Aftyn Behn, I believe it's state representative. Yes, state representative Aftyn Behn, who's running for Congress. What? They're very exciting. Republican, she's running against Republican Mark Green's recently vacated 7th district. Oh, this is so exciting. More after this on WCPT 820 with candidate for Illinois' 52nd House Representative seat, Jesse Rojo. Go to rojoforillinois.org.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. A heat advisory continues. Isolated thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise clear. Still very warm, a low temperature of 80 degrees, with winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Thursday, scattered storms with a high of 97, and the heat index as high as 105. Friday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 80. Saturday, scattered storms with a high of 85 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 93.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
WCPT Replay.
Welcome to the show, Kristen Kroll, Executive Director of Fair Share America.
We in this moment right now are required, and I feel this so strongly, to hold equal parts grief for what we are losing as a country and hope for what is possible. And it is a hard moment to be an organizer. It is a hard moment to be a citizen, a community participant. And that is exactly why we have to continue to drive a narrative and to drive actions that allow us to say we are better than this. Our country is better than throwing 16 million people off health care. Full stop. We don't want this. There are folks across both parties who are getting together to say, oh, actually, we do love our neighbor. We do care about what happens in our community. And it is on us to continue to pressure them.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
After my wife died, I felt like I lost everything, including my love of fishing. But one day, my granddaughter called, and I realized I still had a lot to look forward to. I got referred to a psychiatrist who explained depression can happen to anyone. Getting help doesn't make me weak. It makes me stronger. I just wish it made me better at fishing.
Mental health care is working for Diego. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. I'm joined in studio by candidate for Illinois' 52nd District House seat. I say it different every single time.
Every time, yeah.
Well, you are running for the Illinois 52nd District House Representative seat. It's
one of the wildest part. In
Yes.
Barrington, right now, we have all of the competitive seats. We have the 9th Congressional, the 8th Congressional, 52nd Congressional, 26th Senate, 51. It's
a
got some people say political division. I say diversity of ideology, and it's kind of nice sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you, someone who knows a lot about the political diversity is
diversity of ideology.
Yes, sure. Is State Representative Aftyn Behn in Nashville. Hey, Representative, how are you doing today?
Nashville.
Doing great. Excited to be on the show.
Yes, and you are. She's like, let's go. You are now running for Congress. Since we last talked to you, a lot has changed. I think the whole world has gotten a little bit darker. How are things going in your neck of the woods?
Oh man, it is. We've officially entered the dark era in Tennessee. Things are pretty dire. To give you an example, I represent over 60,000 voters in the state legislature, and our state agencies are refusing to answer emails of Democrats. They are. We're about to face a bunch of budget cuts that no one really knows about, and a bunch of programs are going to be slashed, and no one is communicating. So yeah, we just got to organize through it.
Oh my God! I mean, you guys have been through so much in Tennessee. We've talked to some of the Tennessee 3 who were expelled and had to run for their seats. I mean, all kinds of madness, and it seems like just the chaos. I know that we don't have like a silver bullet for this, but what is resonating with voters and constituents?
I would ask that.
Yeah, I mean, to give you an example, so in May, we had a massive ICE operation, the first of its kind in terms of density and just expansiveness. And what happened as a result, and this just gives you an example, I went out on ICE Watch in my district, as I have a Hispanic part of my district, went out on ICE Watch. Representative Andy Ogles retweeted the video calling for my arrest. The Department of Homeland Security called for my arrest. I was almost abducted from my legislative office as a result. And so what I've been saying in terms of the folks that, are upset and think that illegal immigration is the key crisis in their life is, immigrants are not the reason your grocery prices are high. And I'd like you to think about who's making you think it is.
Yeah, no kidding. And how much higher do you think they'll be when a lot of these, we know we're already seeing images across the country of, vegetables and produce just not being able to be harvested because there's no one to work in those fields. What about because I know that you have a rural part of your district. Do you have farmers in your area as well that are seeing the impacts of not being able to get people to work their land?
I haven't heard from farmers, but the 7th Congressional District is really rural. It's about 70% ex-urban and rural. And it's, there's rural hospitals that are at risk of closing as due to the big ugly bill, which is the genesis of, why I decided to run and jump in this race is that Tennessee is going to be really hit hard by the passage of this bill and using this congressional race as a vehicle to raise awareness about its impact.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been telling folks is that every single closure, every single suspension of services has to be pointed at, this is what the Republicans did this to you. I don't know if it's flyers on their windshields, if it's billboards, if it's a text. They have to be reminded every single time it's the policies of Republicans, don't you think?
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, we have a Republican trifecta in Tennessee. We have a Republican trifecta at the federal level. There's only so long you can blame Biden.
Well, now we're blaming Obama.
They'll still find a way to blame him. Yeah.
It's cyclical.
It is crazy. And with all the cuts that are happening, because it's in Illinois too. We have 9 rural hospitals that are on the verge of closing. I imagine you also have hospital deserts throughout Tennessee in your district.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're about to face a nursing home crisis. I mean, 40% of our nursing homes are owned by private equity, and on top of that, 60% of the nursing homes in Tennessee, are reliant upon our Medicaid. So it's about to be a real crisis, but out of crisis comes opportunity, which is why I decided to jump in this race. Is you really you couldn't have a better organizer in this moment to organize through this chaos and bring us out on the other end.
Yeah. So, what is the timeline for you? Is this is going to be in the November race of the November election of 2026, correct?
Well, Patty, shenanigans are afoot, as they always are in the Republican legislature. So the timeline is a bit skewed. It's actually going to be an early October primary and then a December general, which means it's Sagittarius season. So joke's on them, because that's my time to shine.
Love you. Go ahead.
But it's going to be the only Republican to Democratic special election in the entire country. So the entire country will be fixated on rural Tennessee, and that's a really exciting moment for me.
And to clarify, is that 2025 or 26?
Yep, this is this fall. So right before 2026 midterms. Yep.
Right.
Served hot and spicy.
All right, so Aftyn, I'm also a candidate. I'm also facing an uphill battle. Patty's noticing now I'm struggling not to curse sometimes.
I have a button.
No, I mean, I'm just having senior district, right? In the last cycle, 60-40 roughly.
Oof.
What is your motivation to go into such an uphill battle? And what is that pathway to victory for you? Why? What are you hoping to solve?
Yeah, I mean, I cut my teeth as a rural organizer with National Indivisible, and so I'm a national expert at engaging rural voters. 2, I'm the prodigal daughter of this national progressive political apparatus that has risen during the Trump administration and can be turned on and mobilized to, raise money and turn out voters. And 3, in Tennessee, I've been on TV for the past 2.5 years talking about ending our grocery tax and pot for potholes, which would legalize the recreational sale of marijuana to fix our roads. So for me, it's, I've been on TV. I think I've got a lot of name ID in the district, and it's really a moment in time where I just want to go head to head and to fight for our city and state, because our Republican delegation at the federal level is doing a half-assed job. So.
Pot for potholes. I absolutely love that. I don't know if you were listening earlier. Me and Patty were talking about the fair tax here in Illinois, where we were trying to, pass the tax. And I was saying we failed because we weren't telling people exactly what we're doing. Pot for potholes, that's what we need. We want to make sure we have this extra revenue for this exact reason. Good stuff there.
Exactly.
Aftyn. Good stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's amazing. And with, the threat of closing hospitals and suspending senior care, I'm guessing we were having trouble. We were talking earlier about child care that's vulnerable, families who rely on that and to be able to go to work. How much of the big brutal bill is taking effect already? How many like facilities or nonprofits are like, we're not going to make it. We're done?
Well, I mean, and this is the kicker in Tennessee. Like a lot of nonprofits, it's the ongoing groveling that they have to do to the Tennessee state government to beg for funds, and yet now the roosters have come home to roost. And so Second Harvest, which was one of the most massive food banks in our entire state, had to basically refuse. I mean, there were funding cuts, so they weren't able to feed mass families, a lot of communities in Tennessee. And so I really do think we're at a precipice where we're going to start to see mass hunger, mass unemployment in a way that people have never seen before. And so, like I said, for me as someone who understands deeply what this moment entails and is required, I'm really excited to use this congressional race to really drive home that narrative and to fight back.
Yeah, because here's the thing: we went through at a state level, governor. And here's the thing: when I say Illinois, that's just really for the blue states, I guess, because you guys have already been the guinea pigs for Project 2025. This has been a long time coming anyway, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep. And in Tennessee, I mean, I don't know. I know every state is having kind of a funding crisis and a tax cliff, but I've heard what's going on in Illinois. But in Tennessee, I mean, our budget is about to be really busted, and so I always think back to Sam Brown back in Kansas when things were so bad and so dire they actually elected a Democratic governor following a really terrible administration. So that's what I think the pendulum's swinging back. And like I said, I think for someone like me who is just so clear-eyed in this moment about messaging and the path forward that I'm really excited about this opportunity.
How do we get involved? How do we support you? Because this, as you mentioned, is going to be the biggest race of the year. Everyone's going to be looking at this in Tennessee. You might be the harbinger of incredible things to come. How do we support you?
Yeah, you can visit Aftyn for Congress, and so we're going to have, phone banks. I mean, this is going to be a nationally followed race, and I'm just so excited for Tennessee to be known for something good and not for something bad. So, but AftynforCongress.com.
Yeah, tell us again, how do we spell Aftyn?
AFTYN.
AftynforNashville.com. Jesse, do you want to say one more thing before we go?
Yeah, I got one last question, Aftyn. So I'm assuming you got plenty of Republican folks in your family as well. So I'm going to ask you a question. Let's see how good of a candidate you are right here.
Oh, boy.
So I got 156 cousins. I'm a stereotypical Mexican here. 152 of them voted Republican.
Oh.
They've told me, it costs too much. The Democrats suck. Identity politics. I just want my dollar to actually be worth something. What are you going to tell them? How are you going to earn that vote?
I mean, like I said, it's in Tennessee, it's really telling people nicely and gently as a social worker, which I am, is that they've been scammed. And I'm sorry that, both parties at this point haven't provided any material benefits to your life, especially in a state like Tennessee. And so why don't you give the pissed off blonde social worker a chance to run with it and make your life better?
And shucks, she just got my vote.
She gets the whole audience. Outstanding. Aftyn, anytime you have 12 minutes to spare with us, I know that it's busy. Now you're raising money, you're getting volunteers, you're creating this incredible movement. We'd love to have you back, and we are so proud and excited to have you on the show anytime. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Patty.
Yeah, I think a lot's going to hinge on this young woman. Thank you, Aftyn. Go, Representative. Go get them.
Thanks, Patty.
Thank you.
Win it.
Take care. Oh, man. You can get more information if you didn't catch the website. It's on my Facebook page as well, the Patti Vasquez Show page. All of our guests' information is available there. You can get links to their websites, to their events, all the things. The Patti Vasquez Show page. Like our page, we just hit 13,000 today. We've basically tripled since Trump became president of the United States. And again, apparently people are looking for kind of voices like this. More in a moment. We have the phone lines open. We'll be back in a moment. I hope I can get to all the calls, but I might not because I have to get the texts and other things. More after this on WCPT, KTNF, and KKNW.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the corporate media. Democracy Now!
The UN's Humanitarian Affairs Office warned Palestinian children are at high risk of injury or death from unexploded ordnance left after more than 13 months of Israeli attacks. 8-year-old Mohammed Karmash, this is his mother.
No one was there to tell him that these are explosives that the Israelis throw.
Democracy Now! Weekday evenings at 10 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hi, I'm Diana. As a veteran, I know that for many servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Because I too struggle with the invisible wounds of service. Thankfully, I found American Humane's Pups for Patriots program, which brought Sam into my life. Before being paired with Sam, I didn't get out of bed for most days. Pups for Patriots and Sam literally changed my life. Now I'm able to go to the store without having a panic attack. I'm finally able to live my life the way I want to live it. Pups for Patriots provides trained service dogs to veterans like me at no cost. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots service dog program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
A message from American Humane.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
He's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation. Joining me in studio is candidate for Illinois' 52nd district for this House of Representatives in Springfield. Jesse Rojo joins us. We are opening up the phone lines, and this segment is sponsored by Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and learn more about the great beans. Do you drink coffee?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
How do you survive without it?
I mean, do you know how many times since I started having Pride Coffee Roasters, I would talk to and Latinas like Soli Santos, Gwen LaRocca, and Jaime de Leon, all Latino comedians. None of them wake up to coffee. Okay, do you make your? I know what. What? I can't. Two Mexicans, one Puerto Rican, so it's like across the I don't know, maybe only Cubans are. Anyway, my husband puts it in the coffee machine. Like we use a regular drip, like a drip coffee. What do you do? You do French press? What do? You do a Keurig cup,
dude. So I
don't do a K cup.
I did not drink coffee until I was 18.
Okay.
My first internship, where it turns out they had the crappiest coffee machine in the world, but I never drank coffee before. So I had no idea that was crap coffee.
Okay.
I just thought that was coffee. So I drank it black, hated it.
Sure, but
I got used to that just being it. Then I was in the Army where we had a rough shot.
Oh, sure.
Literally just put coffee packet, water, shake it up, you're good. So I've got no opinion when it comes to good coffee. Just give me black,
I'm going to get you a bag.
Wake me up.
I don't have one in my locker, but I'm going to get you a bag of Pride Coffee Roasters because they are amazing. So they do do you ever see those bags where it says notes of, it's almost like a wine bottle where it says cinnamon and toffee?
That gets me, yeah.
Yeah, so mine was, the one I have right now, so I grind it up fresh. I also I try to do theirs in the French press.
Okay.
We're going to do I'm going to have them in studio with you to show you the French press.
Let's do it.
But they do there's one from Chiapas from Mexico, right? So that has dark chocolate. You can taste a little bit of dark chocolate. I'm just saying, a little bit of cinnamon. I'm just saying. So the one I had was it was an Indian roast from India, and it had it had graham crackers. It's amazing. I'm just saying that was really good.
I'll give it a
so
try.
my husband will he'll put the coffee grounds into the machine the night before. So when we wake up, we just push the button, and it makes me excited to go to bed. To wake up to have my coffee. That's how much I love coffee, folks. I'm like, if I go to bed now, I will wake up and there will be coffee in my face. I'm just saying. So go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and they have a discount for you right now. Drive home 10 to save 10% on your entire order. So that's Pride Coffee Roasters. They'll be joining us at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market this Sunday in Jefferson Park, right across the street from the post office, right off of Lawrence over by there. And I'll be there for a little bit, but then I have to run to Wisconsin because this fib loves going to Wisconsin. I will be at the We the People Defend Democracy, a commitment to the Constitution and fundraising event, joining Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Chair of the Wisdems Devin Remaker, and Joshua Taylor, who's the second chair, and I will be speaking for 15 minutes. They told me to do 15 minutes, and I'm a stand-up comic. They're going to have to give me a light, which means get out of the way. You've talked enough. I have things to say. I love my friends.
They should have told you 5 minutes.
Come on now. Go to walworthdems.org for more information. That is going to be this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. at Hawks View Golf Club. So I do love me some Wisconsin. I get me the brat stop and an old-fashioned. I'm good. Hey. All right, Paul from Seattle has been patiently waiting on the line. This segment is sponsored by Pride Coffee Roasters. The phone lines are open. Go ahead, Paul. Thank you for waiting, my friend. What's on your mind?
Sure. I have to point out something and challenge Jesse a little bit here because I'm hearing the same erroneous type of conversation going on here. Now, was it last hour, Jesse said, we can't just criticize Trump. We can't just say Trump is bad. We have to have policy issue, solutions. Okay, we do. They don't. The Republicans don't do that. Mm-hmm. The only thing, can you articulate even one policy solution issue the Trump administration, the Trump campaign did during the election. Not one. He had a concept of a health care plan. You know what the concept was? The concept was get rid of it. And he said, if we can find something cheaper, well, we're going to get rid of Obamacare and we're going to go with it. He did. Get rid of it. Get rid of health care. That was cheaper. They did not articulate a single policy issue solution. What they did was say the Democrats just play identity politics, which we don't. And I'll give you an example. Because policy issues are people's eyes glaze over, like they're sitting in church at 7 o'clock in the morning and they're in the. No, they rev their people up with, hey, they're eating the dogs and cats. Can you believe it? They're eating the dogs and cats. This is what gets people. Okay, so you have to understand that. Rick Smith, coming up next, Rick Smith, I emailed him about it. He said that one of his red hat friends, the only thing he cares about is the transgender issue. And if Democrats are going to keep trying to force that down their throats and force them to agree with it, we're never going to get anywhere. And I emailed him. I said, if that's the only thing that your red hat friend cares about, then all of your blue-collar economic policies that you talk about on the air, he doesn't care about those. He only cares about the transgender issue because he's got a problem. And that's his whole problem. So they don't. The MAGAs don't pay attention. Otherwise, they would be going out of their flipping mind with what's going on. They don't care about it. The only thing the MAGAs care about is exercising their social and their socio-cultural grievances. I'll tell you one thing. I heard on Alex Wagner. This is a disappointing show that I heard from her on MSNBC. She had a focus group of black voters who were considering voting for Trump. One woman said that Kamala Harris was sworn in as the first Indian American to be elected to the United States Senate, and now suddenly she's black.
Right.
And I said, wait, no, she was not sworn in as Kamala Harris. You are now the first Indian American woman. That's not how she was sworn in. That's what the AP said she was.
May I, Paul? Because I want to go back to what you're saying about how we have policy, we have a message. I think what they have is hate and fear mongering, to your point, and just narrowing everything down to things that people who are easily manipulated will fall for. And I'm sorry that so many people fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. What I think, and what Jesse kind of perked up to was Aftyn Behn talking about pot for potholes, and to his point about the fair tax, people didn't understand it. We didn't really. The messaging was we overthink things, and young people. I'm not saying we can't do this, but they're trying to figure out a way to cut to the chase to make that message more consumable, like affordable housing. And people's heads shut down and they think of Cabrini Green. I'll be honest with you, they just 100%, freaking do, 100%, and I almost swore too, by the way. So I'm just saying, and this was we have a strategist, Tim Hogan, who used to work here in our newsroom. He told me, and this is I think resonates. The Republicans will bring you a plate of brownies, and Democrats are like, here's a recipe for making brownies. So that's what I think Jesse's referring to more than we don't have a message. Go ahead, Jess.
No, I was so first reminder always there are levels of it. There's some people who voted for Trump I think we should bring to our side. There's some who shouldn't. The person you're describing earlier
QAnon's never coming over. Yeah. These folks are never.
I'm okay with that.
The adrenalized Firmicron blood drinking infant. We're never going to get them. Go ahead.
One thing though, Paul, I really like you saying that about Trump has no solutions. MAGA has no solutions. I really wish we actually would have pointed that out in 2020. We talked a lot about so many things. One thing I wish we would have said is what has Trump actually passed? Because he had.
I think they tried. Nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to be asked a question.
Nah, I get it, but he had one major bill, the 2017 GOP tax cuts, that literally gave a 50% greater tax cut to the richest 20% of Americans than the middle 20%. That right there, if you see polling when it comes to progressive taxations, that's somewhere we can actually unite folks.
Thank you so much for calling, Paul. I really appreciate your call. I got to wait. I have to wrap the show.
Paul.
Thank you.
Northwest, I like it.
And point well taken. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's Jesse Rojo running for Illinois' 52nd House of Representative seats in Springfield. It's a legislative seat that you should know more about. Go to rojoforillinois.org. I'm so sorry I couldn't get to all of our texts today. It got to be a busy show. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you to our sponsors. I'm so sorry we can't go tonight. I didn't tell you did I tell you that Declan had 5 teeth pulled last week? And so I think now the he's starting to feel the pain of it because all the pain meds, they stop. So it's a bit of a rough day. So thank you, Lady B. I'm sorry we can't go see the Famous Brothers, but we are going to go very soon. Or we'll have them here. We'll have them back saying thank you, Lady B. Thank you to all of our listeners. Bye, everybody.
Porsche, power within your grasp. Feel the rush and find your new Porsche at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Browse and test drive our extensive selection like the 2025 Porsche Cayenne. And right now, lease the 2025 Macan Electric for only $1049 a month for 39 months. Visit the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com. 8,992 with signing. Excludes tax, title, license, and dock fee. No security deposit required. Expires 7/31/2025.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
The Rick Smith Show.
These are the people that we've handed the keys to the kingdom. These are the people that we've said, go ahead, run the country. So are we surprised when we said that they're going to run it into the ground? No, you could go, Rick, you've been saying this is all planned, and I think it is. I think the chaos is plotted. I think they know, as long as there's chaos, we can then do the real goal, which is breaking the federal government and stealing from we the taxpayers.
The Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 7 on WCPT 820.
These are real stories of speech-language pathologists and the people they helped. He was in his 30s.
55 and far from home.
15 years old with multiple disabilities.
It was a traumatic brain injury.
He's bilingual but lost his English after the stroke.
Several surgeries led to his swallowing disorder.
His goal was to get back to work.
I used French during therapy.
Others almost gave up on the goal of him eating.
Oh, he was dedicated.
Together, we built his life back.
Social interaction was the key to helping him.
And he made it back to work.
When he ate, his friends cheered.
Everyone has the right to communicate.
And later, he was able to travel across the world to his family.
Are you or someone you know experiencing a speech, language, or swallowing disorder? An ASHA-certified speech-language pathologist can help. Visit us at asha.org/public.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here. Today on the big program, lots to get to, lots to talk about. Evidently, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, didn't want to deal with the Epstein thing. Evidently, we're adjourning for the summer. Summer vacation starts a little bit early because we want to tap down the Epstein thing. Prediction, Mike, it's only going to get worse, especially as you've got Congressman Thomas Massie, the Republican from Kentucky, who is going to push forward with the idea of releasing the Epstein files because, as he says, at least a dozen Republicans support his proposal to push this through because people want it. Trump ran on it. This was part of the conservative movement forward. And what do we get from Trump? Well, he's calling on the Justice Department to charge Barack Obama. Yeah, because understand. He says whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. It's criminal at the highest level. And the meme that the White House shared, which was, something like, I was hunted, now I'm the hunter, because he claims he's going to go after Obama, I guess Biden's on there, Comey's on there, Clapper, Brennan, because that's going to rile the base. And if that doesn't do it, if going after Obama, I'm surprised he didn't throw Clinton in there. But if that doesn't rile the base, then, the sports team name, that'll do it. The Cleveland and the Washington teams, that'll get people, at least his base, all tingly in the panties, all bunched up, all so they don't pay attention to the fact that the Wall Street Journal reported that the economy's set to slow. What they claim is leading economic indicators are saying, hey, with the impact of Trump's tariffs, the price increases that are coming in the second half of the year, expect a slowdown. And you look at the price of beef, gone up almost 9% since January, and CNN saying that could be even higher and more stubborn than egg prices have been, because they haven't brought those down either. But hey, at least we've got crypto, right? Interestingly enough, the new Gallup poll out, only about 14% of Americans said that they would buy cryptocurrencies. The other side of that, 60% said not interested, never interested. And when you find out who the crypto bros are, they tend to be conservative, younger men, and rich people. So are we surprised at all that Trump media, the people who control the Truth Social, that they've acquired $2 billion worth of Bitcoin? We shocked, especially after the signing of the quote-unquote Genius Act. I'm telling you, I'm not fond of the geniuses who voted for it. But hey, at least we're not talking about real things, like the Labor Department. Right now looking to loosen regulations on workplaces that, interestingly enough, you've got immigrants working at. It's quite remarkable if you stop and you think about it.